Hi Bisons, Emily Hobbs here, the Career Navigator for East Trails Middle School. I'm creating this video. Oh shoot. Hi Bisons, Emily Hobbs here. I am the Career Navigator for East Trails Middle School. I'm creating this video for anybody who missed the learning lunch but was interested to hear what I had to say or what it was about. So I will try to keep it quick because I know that you are very busy. On this title slide, you're going to see the word Ignite for the Diploma Plus initiative. The elementary focus is Explore, middle school is Ignite, and high school is Experience. When you think of Ignite, I want you to think about a flint and casting those sparks on your students. Sometimes you're going to cast sparks and it's just going to fizzle out, but sometimes you're going to cast those sparks and something's going to catch fire. So you want to cast out as many sparks as possible to get your students excited about the relevancy of your curriculum and possibly their own futures or careers. So for me, I'm going to be throwing out some sparks. I'm just going to talk to you about things that I have seen done, I personally have done, or currently working on concerning this initiative. And again, I mentioned blurring those walls of the classroom, trying to get your students to see the relevancy and engage with the community, and then also about their futures. And I'm just going to be telling you a whole bunch of things because I know what educators do. I know how teachers work. Somebody will plant a seed and you might have an idea already like, oh my gosh, that fits. You might be just, be thinking about it. And if it's in the back of your mind as you're working, something might come up, and I'm going to invite you to contact me so that I can celebrate the cool things that you're doing. So the first thing that I want to talk about is a unit that I did when I was teaching 7th grade ELA. And we did the structured workshop model, and a lot of people participated in that cadre. And basically at the end of the unit, you had a real world make. In other words, something that you would see in the real world that is connected to your curriculum. So I focused a unit around resiliency, and we did all kinds of reading and watching videos and so forth all around the idea of what it means to be resilient. And the students noticed a pattern in all the stories that something really bad would happen to someone, really bad, and they would hit rock bottom. After being there for a while, then they would have to come up with strategies and figure out how are they going to, pull themselves out of it. And a lot of times they got help from somebody else. And then when they finally make it to the other side, many people would look back and help other people in a similar situation. So after we noticed that pattern, I said, okay, I want you to think of a time that you've had to be resilient, or someone you know has had to be resilient. And I want you to do something, figure out how can you display what you've learned to then help other people. So on the left-hand picture, you're going to see a girl who approached me and said, I've been homeless twice. And I'm like, whoa, that's heavy. What are you going to do? Or what do you want to do? And she said, I want to take up a collection for a homeless shelter. And I said, great. And she said, I don't know of any homeless shelters. I'm like, well, looks like we're going to have to start researching. So long story short, she had to write a school announcement and do a collection. And she and I drove to Sheffield Place Homeless Shelter. And that was pretty cool. Another girl said she had a really tough 6th grade year because her best friend was someone who she was very, very jealous of. And she was really mean to her friend because she was so jealous. And by the end of the year, her friend had moved away, and she was very regretful of how she didn't appreciate that friendship. And I said, what are you going to do? And she said, I'm going to write a children's book to help any other girls who might be feeling jealousy of their friends. And I'm going to give it to my 6th grade teacher because, that 6th grade teacher was along for the ride with her as well. And it was very cool. Now that's like a whole unit ending thing, a little bit genius hour-esque. That's a big deal. There's a lot of work for me, but I'm telling you, I will never forget those projects. Those students will never forget those projects either. And that's one of the reasons why I went into teaching, because I really wanted to impact other people and our kids and have a difference. But what you do does not have to be a big, huge genius hour type event. It can be, just a one-time event. So for example, Whitney, your art teacher, is wanting to do some window painting. And so that really got me reflecting about the types of ways that art teachers display work. Sometimes it's in a portfolio that gets sent home. Sometimes it might be in a hallway where you can see everybody's beautiful work. My friend Missy Gard had done window painting in the school, Summit Lakes Middle School. That you can see that picture on the upper right-hand corner is in the cafeteria. Whitney, though, had done it at McDonald's in a business. And so this year, though, we're going to do it at Downtown Lee Summit. And we have about 5 businesses that are willing to let us paint, let her students, I'm not doing it, let her students paint on their windows for Small Business Saturday. What was kind of a game changer, though, is some of the businesses like Whistle Stop said, well, you can't paint all over the windows because our customers like to see out the windows when they're drinking their coffee. So we had to have a form like, well, what exactly do you want? And so we're planning on that on in November. So you'll want to make sure to make your way down to Downtown Lee Summit to see her students' work. Emily Kay is a Spanish teacher in your school who really wants to connect students with native speakers. And she's like, they are on fire for the language. They are on fire for culture. We cannot wait until their third or fourth year to get them connected with native speakers. Now it's hard because there's so many classes, but she's going to put students in groups at the end of the year with all of their units, and they're going to create videos incorporating the conversation that they learned, clothing or families or their town or whatever it might be. And they're going to record the video in English and in Spanish. And these educators in Colombia are going to do the same thing and send them back so that they can have that connection with native speakers and also practice their language skills. If you want to think about math a little bit, the math curriculum is tight. And there's all different types of things that people might need to approach. And so you might, the upper left-hand corner, these are the 3 types of percentage problems that you might see. Below that is a word problem, because we hear students say, why do I have to learn this? Well, yes, you definitely need to know percentages. So a lot of times we want to try to put them in word problems. And we kind of did another spin on that last year at PL where we found all these different options in the real world where they would actually use percentages, such as Dick's coupons or paying a commission for a real estate agent or getting interest in a bank. The one you're seeing here is about payroll taxes. So the word problem is based around paying payroll tax and an hourly wage, and then the station that they were working at, it was just a one-day thing, is designed like Hawaiian Bros, and they could collaborate and work on the problem. And then they got a free Dole Whip with it as well. So that was kind of a fun day that was a break from the routine. Field trips are kind of fun. I would always think I can't take 140 people, it's just too much. But if you are an elective class, or if you don't have to take everybody, you can just take some people. I can tell you Kenny Taylor right now we're working together to try to figure out how he can take some students to a studio. Bringing in virtual speakers is another option. So that might be something you could think about. Sometimes the speaker is a career. So this is a storyteller that we used a few years back, and I couldn't believe how many people said, a storyteller is a career? I'm like, yeah, not necessarily a highly sought after career, but it did start opening their eyes to, I didn't even realize. And I've talked to a business partner who runs an advertising agency, and their specialty is helping businesses tell their story. And so how important a business's story is to how much their customers want to support them. So this is just a quick brainstorm of all the things I've seen done or I know are being done. Now, the music and drama department, it's a little unfair because they are preparing and then boom, you're doing a concert or you're doing a musical and you're on stage. It doesn't get much more real world than that. Of course, sometimes they are doing caroling at John Knox or, doing a workshop for younger kids or something like that. Social studies, I know that they've done this Veteran Day celebration, which has been very, very cool, bringing in veterans that are related to the students that are in the class. That's very cool. And something that kind of popped up that we didn't know is students were able to realize how many different professions there are in the military. I've seen people do a simulated archaeological dig, messy, but super fun. Reading lab, just grabbing that driver's ed book to teach text features and table of contents and index and all, because they need to pass that test. For the friendship unit, one year I forgot to do the letter writing part of it, and so I had my students at the end of the year write a letter to the next year's students on their team, how to best get along on the team. And then after the next year did their friendship unit, and we usually talk about why is it so stinking hard to make friends. You got to get through that awkward part when you're first meeting each other. Then the 8th graders and the 7th graders that got the letters met, well, we called it SOAR. I think you guys have bison time to just get through that friendship. And also it kind of created a good sense of community. It doesn't have to be class. It could be an extracurricular like LSTA. I just want you to think about things that you do or another teacher is doing that might fit in some of these categories, or maybe there's something you used to do that you could bring back, or what could you do? It doesn't have to be a big deal. It could be a one-day thing, it could be a unit. Just kind of get your mind thinking. If you have an idea or you want to brainstorm or you just want to tell me about something you're doing, please email me. I would love to hear about it. Thanks for watching the video. I appreciate it. Take care, guys.